doesn't have a birth or not, doesn't have a death. And you should not be worried about anything and all. What is that? He doesn't know. It is the soul. You are embodied soul. Your soul is embodied into this body. How is it that? Is that because everyone say we have not seen, we have seen the body. I know you, you have seen me. We know the soul is there and all. It's a very, very sort of a fundamental question. You can say fifth standard question. Even that's what anyone can, because soul is there, everyone says, so should I believe? He says, if that is the case, how do we say this? The brain is there. The brain is embodied. All of us know the brain can be surgically operated. It can be set right, but not the mind. What you call mind, is having all the thoughts. But if you open up and do a scan of the brain, you will not get the thoughts. It will get neurons. 1 billion neurons are there in a small the quantity of the brain. What we have, just the like of a fist. The level of a fist is our brain, much less than that. It does have 1 billion neurons, and the 1 billion neurons, they have got the the entire they are killing the synaptic connections, and they are finally creating the source for the perception. From the perception, thought comes. From the thought, you are trying to reflect and where it is stored. It's not physically in any part of your body. It is in your sushma sarira. Your sushma sarira you will not be able to see, because when we want to get, yesterday I went to a dentist, to get the X-ray of my teeth. She took it and gave it, but you will not be able to take the X-ray of your soul. That is sushma sarira. It is there all, because that is where, the fantasy happens, the magic happens. The mind is the storage of all the thoughts, because all the, your intellect, because what process the thoughts and all is also, in your sushma sarira, which discriminates which is good and bad and all, it is all the sushma sarira. That is disembodied. When the disembodied, where it will be there? It will be in the sushma sarira, that is your soul which controls. The sushma sarira is nothing but soul. When we say, because finally when we do, because for all the pitrus we give and all those things, there, this mortal body goes off here. But the soul, which never dies, there is no birth or no death for that. It always remains. That is what he brings to Arjuna. Please don't think, you are someone who can be killed, because you are a soul. A soul, you can't kill him. You are incapable of killing. In the sense, because killing in the sense facing the life, we will have to take it. Krishna says, killing, it's not that you go and kill something and all. It's not that. It is you should be able to face the life. You can't have raga, dvesha and all. Why should I not think someone, who does all the bad things, he talks to me all ill things, always. He scolds me, his language is absolutely foul. His obnoxious, talk, I can't just hear and all. You can have, but, it is perhaps his prarabdha, but, you just give and vanish it. Because after all, the soul is, he has also got a soul, he has also got antaratma. He has got the power behind that. For you, because you don't have to face it, and it is not your responsibility to correct or your responsibility to reject. You just, go through and just pass off. Like some experiences you will pass off, because you will not be bothered, because it's not going to add any value to that. But some experience, you will be taking, because which gives you something. What you learn from the experience is goes into your sushma sarira, in the mind, in the intellect, chetna, it goes there. If you go and scan the brain, you will not be able to get any thought. You will only get the neurons and the formations, the synaptic connections, whether the cerebellum is okay, because this part of the brain is okay, because whether there is a function and all those things they say, because whether there is something. So another thing we will have to understand, because even the brain physiologically we think, it has got some portions, they look after your movements, some portion look after your, the giving command and all those things, because I always said that. But the same thing, has been brought, in research. The brain is also having a phantom brain, they call it. The other parts of the brain can adopt the function of the certain other parts which becomes dysfunctional, and still they can cure, they can bring you back to normal. This is what Dr. V.S. Ramchandran, who is in San Diego, who is heading the neurology department in the University of California, San Diego, he's written a book, Phantom Brain. the telltale story of the brain where he has written, it always, trying to, because they see, because people who have lost their hands and legs in war or in some other accidents, because the adaptability of the brain, they feel they almost having the full hand, even though they don't have it physically, the phantom brain. He says that is possible. And when it happens, how it happens, which triggers, these are all from the Chetna, what you have stored in the Sushma Sarira, from there it comes. But he explains, but we don't know how the phantom brain's formation takes place. Even if you have a paralysis, he says that that part of the brain which controls your hand movements and leg movements or facial movements, if you, some people have a facial paralysis. In that book, he says, in the phantom brain, the other part of the brain, by practice and by sort of focusing on that, with a good, because the one, who guides, a physician, who takes full interest in that, you will be able to make other part of the brain turn off to do that function. You may be able to do practically to the extent, you can have, it can serve you a purpose. That's what he says. Even the physiological brain does have, such a power. It comes from where? Physiologically, you don't have any system by which, the one part of the body can adopt the other. Like brain, in its part, in its compartment, it transfers the efficiency of the one compartment into another. That's what is scientifically proven. For us, that's why it happens. Even when people, who don't have eyes, they are able to, their listening power is so high, they are able to capture the knowledge so fast. Some of the saints, they are, Goswami, so because we know, who was blind, because Vrindavan, he could get everything and all. Likewise, the other part of the body takes place. If one faculty is not working, the other faculty takes over. That takes place. Likewise, what is this? Disembodied body is disembodied brain and embodied body, because those are different. The embodied body will go off. Because, we have gone through our birth, infancy, growth, and middle age, old age, and super senior, and we will all go off. But, are we worried about that? Young, I looked so handsome, when I was going to school and all. So that's gone. You are not bothered. Now you are bothered about immediate, how you have to look good, how you will have to present yourself. That's what you are bothered. So likewise, that is what it is. But soul doesn't have any change at all. It is same. That is why when you are taking a selfie or trying to understand the selfie, self-knowledge, or the self-knowledge is, in the sense it's not yourself. There is one more power, which is in you, Paramatma. He is not interfering in your activity, because you take all your action based on your discriminating power. But he enables you, he gives you the energy, he is the battery behind you. And always he stands by you, he chats with you and takes you. So once you surrender, he always guides you. And you are able to accept whatever happens. You make him a partner, you never leave him. So that you don't have anyone else to be with you always. You have become totally fearless. This is what na jayate mriyate va vipaschinayam kutaschinna babuva kaschit. I am telling that. You please understand. Ajo in the sense there is no birth or death. Ajo, because the one Paramatma is the Ajo. Nityaha. He is always there. He is, whether you are here or the world is here, the cosmos is here, everything is there. Even before the cosmos, time immemorial, but the first time when he was there. Sashvatoyam, because Sashvatoyam in the sense endless, infinity. He is the, he has been there, every time, whether, we are taken the birth or Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Satya Yuga, even before there was a calamity in this world, even there is a tsunami all over, even the world has gone out, he's still there. That is what the Purana. Purano na hanyate. The Purano in the sense now it is tells. The Pura in the sense it is the body, because we tell Barkat Pura and it says. Barkat Pura is where Barkat was living. Pura. Likewise, Brahma Pura is where Brahman is living in the body. And Jiva Pura, because the soul comes and lives in this body, Pura. Purane in the sense Ana, the one Anadi. The soul is Anadi, it doesn't have a birth or death. It has come here and taken this place for the experience during this birth. This is a Purana. At the moment, it is the Purana. What happens to this Purana? Na hanyate hanyamane sarire. You can't kill or even you can't be slain, nor you can slay anyone at all. No one can be slain, nor you can slay anyone. In the sense, no one can be killed. It is permanent. It doesn't have any birth and death soul. The question, what the third question he asked, Brahma, what he has to say, he gives almost the Sankhya Yoga to him, because why are you bothered about it? The soul is always permanent. It is there. Whether the soul is there or not there, people may debate and discuss, but the soul is very much there and doesn't have any birth and death. It has taken this body as a pura. It has got sharire. Shriyate iti shariraga, which decay and finally goes off. In the form of death is sharira. Sharira, shriyate iti shariraga. In the Sanskrit, that's what it's. We call sariram and all. So when you do that, because hanyamane sharire, because only this body will go off. You can't do anything about the soul. Soul is always permanent. So shashvatoyam, because here the interpretation is different. And because when you are doing, you will be repeatedly, depending upon your karma, you will be having the birth and death. The cycle will continue. Once you don't have a desire, once you attain the mukti, the birth and death doesn't happen. The soul becomes shashvatam, always there. But you don't come into this pura. You don't come and stay in this Brahmapura. You don't come into this body and stay here and get through the life and all. You don't have to. Because you don't have any need to. You have accumulated all the sort of a chetna, all the wisdom that is required to be gained all through your births. No more birth and death is required for you. You don't have to come. That is called mukta. So when you become a mukta, what happens? Because one of the interpretation, because various acharyas are given. Shankaracharya says, once you know, because the soul is always, because there and, it doesn't have any birth and death. Once you know, you are that. Once you have the knowledge, then you will not be clinging on to, all these worldly affairs. You will be giving up, renouncing it. Renouncing in the sense, renouncing the effect of it, because you will be doing the ichcha, because Ramana Maharishi say you should have ichcha, sakti and bhakti and then shraddha. All the three you should be there. A person went, a Muslim gentleman, in fact, he went to Ramana Maharishi, asked him, because what is that? He was also interested. After all, the Islamic religion also says finally the redemption is, you will have to give up universal brotherhood, they say. It's a very great concept, because in fact, as a religion, it has got one of the finest concepts on when they do the namaz, roza, which they have, which came to an end during this Ramzan. Universal brotherhood, when you take a roza, because after you complete your fasting, when you take the food, you will have to take with everyone. There is no difference between anyone. No high, no low and all. That is one of the greatest concepts you will find everywhere, because I have seen a lot of people in up north, they used to say that is one of the finest concepts anyone can take it from Islam is that. The universal brotherhood. Once you do that, he asked him, because we know all these things, because he was very great admirer of Ramana Maharishi. He was a Muslim, and he asked him, the Ichcha Shakti, you say all you have to give up the desire, but what is this? Ichcha Shakti is, you come into this pura, you come into this body, your soul is embodied into that. So embodied body is the source for getting your experience. So when you have hunger, thirst, anything and all, you will have to meet the needs. That is ichcha, you feel. So if you have to sleep, you will have to sleep, because the body has to have the rest, and finally, you will have to get that. You will have to do that. Only to that much. Afterwards, because whatever you are doing, you just submit it, because I am not doing it. He is getting it done by me. See, that is the concept in the because once you know, because soul is always Shashvata. How it is Shashvata? Because it knows the Paramatma is Shashvata. Since he knows him, he is Shashvata. That's what Madhvacharya says. If you want to get a mukti, once you, by reflection, finally, he is the one who is getting everything done for you and done by you and done to you. But he doesn't do it because you are getting it done. He gives you the energy and the efficiency and the wherewithal to do it. Once you understand and once you know, once you submit, once you make him a part, and once you make him a part in your success, failure, suffering, happiness, everything and all, then you get the mukti. In the sense, you will not be bothered. Everything is coming, because it has to come, you're taking it. You are into the sea, you are taking a bath. Some big wave comes, you know how to duck under that. And when a small wave comes, how to jump over that. Both you know, you will survive. World is like that. Having come, will you be able to complaining, the wave is coming? The sea will have waves. Once you come into this world, you will have experiences, good, bad, and indifferent. Something will be catastrophic and something will be highly exhilarating, taking you to the height of happiness. All these things will happen, but you should be able to take it. This is exactly, he says. So once you have come into that, once you understand, the soul is